Okay, people, so now it's like February 7th or 8th. I'm not sure. When I finish doing what I'm doing, I'll upload and I'll put the date on it. I think it's the 8th of February 2019. It's about 7 o'clock in the morning. So, what I'm going to do... Go home. After this, I'm going to take this thing to the sewing table. And I'm going to show you what Andrew the Dragon gave me. And we're just going to go through that a little bit, because I'm starting to list this stuff down on the chart, people. Okay? And getting it more organized in terms of listing it down on the chart, so I can list it down on my next notice of claim in regards to Chimay and the ongoing targeting of my family. Because I'm just sitting here waiting for the next one to be picked off, people. Literally. Alright? Like, there is no quality of life. Okay? It was bad enough moving into this house and doing 10 years of yard work just so that you could have a garden, a greenhouse, get rid of the weeds, get rid of the morning glory, get rid of the freaking sand, you know, that kind of stuff, right? Get rid of the mud, even though I still have mud, but it's not as bad as it used to be, right? I just didn't realize it was going to take so long. And I certainly didn't ask for the front yard to be ripped up halfway through it because of a pipe. All right. But besides that point, you know, I haven't been able to sew, so my life has kind of gone down the drain that way, in part because of the yard, right? Took on Uncle, John's wife at one point, right? And then moved into here, and then it became pretty much the yard. And then, Sierra was kicked out of the house and turned into a junkie that's been like just a freaking living nightmare ever since, and just getting worse. And then Uncle John gets medically kidnapped, people, for his money. And I'm going to show you, after I turn this off and go to the sewing table, the case law that Andrew the Dragon brought in regards to medical kidnappings of old people for their money, which is completely unrelated to Uncle John. And that's the point of this video and the preceding videos to come. Stick with the freaking issue. Uncle John was medically kidnapped for his money. They wanted me, people. I went to pro bono, okay? Because I was told to go to pro bono. When I first had the lawsuit ready to file it and everything, I was told to go upstairs in the freaking courthouse and go talk to pro bono and see if I could, make an appointment with pro bono. The only thing is, people, pro bono doesn't help you to do lawsuits. They send you to pro bono to steer you away from lawsuits. And you have 30 minutes. Well, that pro bono lawyer will sit there and argue with you for 15 minutes. And then the other 15 minutes, he's taking notes. And then he gives you 2 minutes of advice. And the advice that he basically told me after he accused me of being a hussy, let's not forget about that, people. Right? Uncle John's hussy. He told me I needed to go take it to some other court to, oh God, what was it? He wanted me to go fight for Uncle John's money or something. His assets or something. And I'm like, no. I'm not taking those. He wanted me to take Eleanor Gilding, the reputable nurse that's been working for the province for 40 fucking years, right? Putting poison into people's arms as she's kidnapping her brother and God knows who else, right? He wanted me to take her to court to fight for Uncle John's money. As he accused me of being a hussy. I said, no, I'm not taking those people to court. It was Fraser Health Authority and CIBC Bank that allowed Eleanor Gilding, the professional nurse with seniority within the healthcare system, to destroy Uncle John's life and his family. Because there's legislation to prevent that from happening, people, and all those people ignored it. That's why we have a health authority to monitor those things, to prevent those things from happening. So, of course, I didn't take his advice because, you know, I'm not going to go fight for Uncle John for his money. As those people lie within their, well, look how we found him when we brought him to Victoria. He was so sick. Even though he had been in the healthcare system through Surrey Memorial Hospital and the Old Yale Center for 43 days or something already by that time? I'm going to write it down on the chart, people, so I can put the numbers down exactly the way they fucking rolled. Right? And I'm going to write it in my new notice of claim, a statement of facts. Because it's not just about Shimei. What they did to Shimei was payback for me filing a lawsuit for what they did against Uncle John. And then they capitalized off of Shimei's healthy body and did something to it, people. In terms of, they didn't want to waste the organs. Right? They didn't want her body going in for autopsy, because if she would have went into autopsy on April 11th, 2018, and this is what I tell my remaining daughter, send a body to autopsy. Well, how do you think they're going to donate organs when they pull out the heart, manhandle it, look at it to see if it's something wrong, because we don't know why she died, right? So they're going to have to autopsy, pull out all her fucking organs, you know, move them around in the head, look at them, weigh them, maybe take off a little piece to do a toxicology on the organ itself, and then what, hand it over to the doctor for transplant? Doesn't work like that, people. They take the organ out of the body and then go put it into the new body. That's why she went straight to the hospital, dead, with an artificial heart to keep those organs somewhat viable until they could figure out which ones they could harvest and take a chance with in somebody else's body. So I sit here every fucking day wondering what Punjabi, what Chinese, what old baby boomer is walking around out here in fucking Surrey with my daughter's organs in them. And only because they can afford to pay for it. Because it wasn't done legally, people. It was done illegally through the back door of the emergency room. Tisha left Shimei at around 6 o'clock that day. The disgruntled ex was kicked out at the same time. So approximately between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m., that's when they did it, people. Because when I showed up at 9 and waited to be allowed to go in and see my daughter in the ICU, the first thing that came out of my mouth when I seen her is she looked embalmed. And I can prove that they embalmed her, people. Pretty damn fucking close. 99.9% I can fucking prove it. And that's why they're going to come in with more funky case law that's going to be completely unrelated to what we're talking about here. And they're going to try and get it thrown out of court. Just like they came in with their funky fucking case law with Uncle John so that they could throw it out of fucking court and not admit to what they did to him and the rest of his immediate family. And And I realize that my YouTube channel is being highly censored. I have like 3 different freaking main pages, people. When I go into my channel and I want to, you know, get into my dashboard or whatever it is, I come across like 3 fucking main pages. Because they're always changing shit, right? Over the years. And then on one main page, it will say, I have so many views on here. Get into my dashboard, whatever. Come in, get into another main page that shouldn't exist anymore because it was supposed to be replaced, right? So, you know, they don't let it fucking go out into the arrhythmian or whatever that thing is called, right? Because they don't want people to know about what's going on. They don't, right? So anyway, Tisha showed up the next day because she was with Shimei from, you know, the time Shimei was taken to the hospital, pretty much, right? They didn't allow Tisha to go in the ambulance with Shimei, so Tisha went after with the taxi within the hour, and she was there till about 6, and Shimei basically looked like Shimei. Except she had a bit more color on her because of the oxygen from the heart, false heartbeat, right? But she sure in the hell didn't fucking look bloated when she left her before 6 or 6 o'clock or whatever it was. But when she showed up the next day, she said, oh my God, yeah, she was like bloated. I said, exactly. Exactly. Because they embalmed her, people. That's what they did. And they did it between 6 o'clock on April 11th, between 9. It only takes 45 minutes to 1 hour to embalm a person. Understand that, people. So if you're not allowed into the ICU room to go see your loved one between a 2 or 3 hour period, that's because they're doing something with that body. And this is a very dangerous precedence. Because if they're trying to make people look like they're alive, and they're convincing everybody that comes into the room that that person is alive. And they're falsifying their fucking records saying that the person is shivering. They're moving their head. They move their shoulder. Whatever the fuck it is that they're putting down. Or whatever it is that they're putting down. But that person is actually dead and had been embalmed. But yet, 4 o'clock in the morning, that person just happened to wake up and put their fucking John Henry with a bunch of healthcare staff standing around and witnessing it because the family is not around at 4 o'clock in the morning. But that person just suddenly happened to wake up, even though they're fucking dead, even though that they've been embalmed and the family is being fooled and not told about it. And they put their fucking little John Henry on something that signs over that money, people. For the ones that have money. And then the family comes in the next day and say, oh, well, you know, and then, you know, the social worker comes as well. Here, he woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning and he put his little John Henry here and, you know, this person was the witness and this person was the witness. So, you know, you're out of shit luck. He donated all his money to the Children's Foundation. And then the family is standing there left with nothing. And because the lawyers come in with their funky fucking case law, the truth will never get out. Assuming that the family even noticed that their loved one was embalmed. Well, we noticed. I noticed, people. I noticed the minute I walked into that room that there was something seriously wrong with my daughter's body. So wrong that I didn't even want to touch it. But I did. I said, why is she so swollen? Why is she so fucking hard? What's the matter? Oh, why does she got blood marks all over her? Why does she got this with blood leaking? Yeah, this side. The side that they go into embalm people into this particular fucking jugular. Oh, her blood turned to water. We couldn't get her blood here. We couldn't get her blood there. We couldn't get her blood wherever the fuck there was like blood marks all over because they were poking her here and poking her there, poking, and the fucking shit was leaking out all over. I said, what the fuck? I said, what's this shit? Oh, we have to go in there because her blood turned to water. Yeah, bullshit. No, what you were doing is we were just topping off the fucking embalming fluid. That's where you embalmed her. That's why when Tisha showed up the next day to go see her sister, she looked completely different when she left her at 6 o'clock the night before. People don't go poof in a 3-hour period unless something happened to them. So I don't care. Bury these videos. Censor my channel. It doesn't matter. The truth is going to get out there one way or another, sooner or later. So, obviously I'm riled up, right? That's the game. Right? That's why they do it. That's why they do it, people, because once your family is attacked and targeted, they will go from one, Andre first, then to Uncle John, then to Shimei. Who's next? Who is next? I can't get health care. Nope. Never go to Surrey Memorial Hospital, right? And if I do, I gotta be completely on fucking guard, right? And if I end up in the hospital, and I'm in the fucking Surrey Memorial Hospital, trust me, people, as long as I can crawl, I'm crawling the fuck out of there. If I can't walk, I'll crawl. Okay? That's how fucking bad it is. Alright? So, between 6 and 9, they embalmed her. When I showed up at 9, and they let me in at 20 minutes after 9 or whatever, well, the disgruntled ex and his family got to see her first. Right? And then as soon as I walked in, the first thing I said is, she looked embalmed. And then the nurse started giving me a bunch of bullshit fucking lies. Right? And it just got worse from there. Her body just deteriorated and rotted and rotted and rotted and rotted to the point I just seen the blisters and, you know, this leaking and that oozing and that protruding and, you know, just the whole 9 fucking yards. Right? So obviously I have to write all that shit down. Right? But what we're going to do is, these are statements of facts in terms of the timeline, how the family is being targeted, right? Hold on a minute. Okay. So, here's my amendment. I am going to post this on Facebook. I'm going to find a way, at least this, for now. Okay? This one is to do with Fraser Health Authority, people. The fella at the fucking CIBC Bank there, I already, out of the courtesy of, did an amendment similar to this, and I already gave it to him. I didn't file it or nothing, I just gave it to him personally. So, he had the information. Right? This one has been filed. This is the one that got me into trouble. Because what? Master Taylor told me to do an amendment. So here's the amendment. Right? See, I'm going to have to do these Supreme Court. I put the amendment in probably then with this stuff. You can see there's those lines. Right? And then this is all Andrew's shit. Right? This is his stuff here. Alright? With his help. I don't get help, remember? Right? I'm not the one that goes around robbing people's money and robbing people's organs, and then go to court and fucking lie and try and keep that system in order so it can continue. Right? Do you see all those lines? And then I brought it down to that. The 20 fucking pages. So when I submitted it, like I said, people, I'm going through these things. When I submitted it, it went in with the lines. Right? There's mine. They got a full copy of that. Then you submit the original. Oh my God. It's just stupid shit, right? Right. I did not amend the legal basis or relief sought because I didn't know how to amend it. I just amended the main statement of facts. And I left the relief sought and legal basis as is. So this here, I'm going to see if I can get this up on Facebook for anyone that wants to fucking read it. Right? And then, at some point down the line, we'll put the big one in. But that will have to be done somewhere else. Somehow. Okay. When it went for dismissal, people, I went in front of the judge. They were trying to... First, it was a case conference. I'm going to say, I'm going to write this stuff down. Right? That's what this is all here for. Okay? It was, I think, considered a case conference. Right? The next one was a dismissal. The last one was an appeal for waiver of fees. But it turned into a mini trial, and it was whatever. Okay, so here, this is the case law that Andrew used to get it dismissed. Do you see all this, people? Nothing to do with Uncle John. Bank of Canada, Royal Bank of Canada, Canadian Imperial Bank, Commerce, Bank of Montreal. I don't know who the fuck this is. John rules something on behalf of the people of Canada. Brought under the Class Proceeding Act. Right? It's all just case law. How does that have to do with anything with fucking them looking after Uncle John and then doing what they did to him? Drugging him up illegally, retaining him illegally, detaining him illegally, putting him in a hammock, fucking putting him in a fucking vehicle in the bottom of a ferry, transporting him over to Victoria, disconnecting him from his family, keeping him drugged up while they did it, stealing his money, right? Probably giving him shock therapy so that it would scramble his brains, right? Freeman versus Stutter. I don't know what it's about. Between Douglas Wayne Freeman, plaintiff, respondent, something, Dr. Jones, something. Okay, the defendant appeared... The defendants appealed the dismissal of their motion to strike out the claim as disclosing no cause of action. The plaintiff sued 2 doctors for alleged negligence. I'm not suing doctors, people. I'm suing Fraser Health Authority for not monitoring their employees. Right? And having a rogue fucking healthcare system that can willy-nilly do what it wants, regardless of who it hurts and how they hurt them. He impregnated a woman other than his wife who attended upon one doctor to request an abortion. How does that have anything to do with Uncle John? It doesn't. Halmco Indum Band versus British Columbia. Right, between Richard Harry, Susan somebody, blah, 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 on their own behalf and on behalf of all members of the Halmolka Indian Band and something Indian Band plaintiffs, Her Majesty. What is it? This was an application by the defendants for orders striking out portions of the amended statement of claim for further and better particulars held. The defendant's application was allowed and the statement of claim was set aside with leave to the plaintiffs to substitute a statement of claim prepared properly. prepared properly. Yeah, okay. Further proceedings were stayed pending the filing and delivery of the fresh statement of claim. What's this one? Dixon and Dixon Murray and Professional Corporation before the Honorable Judge, reasons for judgment. This is an appeal from the judgment of Master something Donaldson, dismissing the action as a result of the plaintiff's failure to comply with an order to furnish a list of documents and an order to attend the examination for discovery. We hadn't even gotten to that point, people. They were fucking trying to dismiss it as they were running their little fucking mini trial through a whole room of like 100 people in there waiting their fucking turn to be heard in front of a judge in order to be able to move forward to a trial. Imperial Tobacco Canada, Her Majesty the Queen, the right appellant respondent on cross appeal versus Imperial Tobacco Canada. I don't even know what this is. Civil procedure, third party claims, motion to strike, tobacco manufacturer being sued by provincial government. How does that relate to Uncle John, people, and the medical kidnapping of old people for their money? Tell me how this relates to it. It doesn't. What's this one? Rose versus University of British Columbia. Civil litigation, civil procedure, pleadings, striking out pleadings or allegations, grounds, failure to disclose a cause of action or defense, facts, frivolous, vexatious, and abusive process. That's what they accused me of, right? But I'm not the one who medically kidnaps old people and steals their money and destroys their families. And no, I'm not that one, people. It's fucking Fraser Health Authority and their fucking staff. Motion by the defendants for an order and the statement of claim be struck out and the action dismissed allowed. Motion by the defendant for an order of the statement claim be struck out. Okay, whatever. So they came in on court day 2 with this crap. I don't think it was court day 1. I think it was court day 2. But we're going to make sure we get it written down so we know when they fucking came in on this. Anyway, it just goes on and on and on and on and on. And then they give you the rules as if they follow the fucking rules themselves, because they don't. There is no justice. We live in Canada. It's worse than the Congo. Right? I don't know what this is. It seems like another freaking case law. Between Antonio's something, and so on, and so on, and so on. You can see blah, 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 blah. Oh, there's a doctor in there. There's a doctor in there. Right? Appearing on behalf of somebody and somebody and somebody on behalf of Dr. somebody. Appealing on her own behalf. Mrs. something, okay. Counsel for the defendants, blah, doctor this, doctor that, doctor. Well, you know what? They can't even find Uncle John's fucking files to find out what doctor released him into the care of his sister, a person that he hadn't had no relationship with over 50 fucking years. And if you go into their freaking legislation, that would have been an infraction. They're not allowed to do that, people, to prevent those kind of people from coming in and stealing other people's money. But Uncle John was just a bone for that fucking high on the horse fucking nurse. Because it's that nurse that's going to go out there and get more bones for the provincial government to capitalize off of. Will the lawyers just protect that fucking status quo? What's this shit? November 23rd. What's this shit? November 23rd. Notice of application. Name of applicant. Fraser Health Authority. Where does it say anywhere? It's the fucking doctor. It's the health authority itself, people. Because they're not monitoring their employees. As a matter of fact, they encourage their employees to act with misconduct and negligence and malice and all this other shit. They want their employees to act like that, people. Because that's how they can get away with stealing other people's money and their organs. On April 28, 2017, the plaintiff posted a public video on YouTube.com regarding her meeting with pro bono lawyer on April 27, 2017. The plaintiff stated in the video that she had seen an experienced lawyer who advised her to abandon her claim against FHA. The plaintiff further stated that she did not intend to follow the lawyer's advice. Yeah, because that lawyer wanted me to go and sue Eleanor for Uncle John's money. That's what they wanted me, as he was calling me a hussy. He didn't offer any help with the lawsuit in terms of what they did to Uncle John and how they fucking did it. He skirted away from that issue altogether. And that's why, people, I'm going to put this up. Oh, not that one. Where is it? I already lost it. This one. That's why I'm going to put this one up. Because this is what that lawyer was skirting. All this shit. He didn't want to acknowledge any of this. There's Andrews again. So it's all listed here. So I have to go back and cross-reference everything. Name of applicant, Fraser Health Authority. There's all their funky case law, remember? Because they don't want to talk about what happened to Uncle John. This is, I guess, when I did put in my amendment. The one that made me look like an idiot at the court registry, because they wouldn't take it initially. I don't know why it's all empty here, but it is. I didn't take anything out. That's my original notice of claim. See, when Uncle John came to me, he was bankrupt. Because his wife bankrupted him for the third fucking time. So guess who had to take on the debt load? So that Uncle John could live a normal life in a fucking house. And be happy. With children. And be a productive member in a family. It was me. It was me that took on the debt load, people. Because Uncle John couldn't do it. Because his wife puked away their money. And bankrupted him 3 times. Before he moved into my house. Anyway, this is the appeal. It was supposed to be a motion to waive her fees. But again, Andrew got his way. Turned it into a little mini trial. And tried to get it thrown out of court so that I couldn't have my fees waived. Right? There's his case law again. And this is the same shit just being printed over. Remember I told you it just starts to pile up. Do you see? That's all Andrews. This is mine. This is mine. Because I got one copy for CIBC Bank. This is CIBC Bank. Not as much. CIBC Bank, Fraser Health Authority. I was going to give the lawyer for CIBC Bank a copy of what was going on so that they weren't falsely accused of doing things wrong because of what Fraser Health Authority initially started. Right? And this one is Fraser Health Authority. Taxpayers' money, people, right there. Taxpayers' money so that they can continue stealing money from old people, so that they can continue stealing organs from 22-year-old victims who were murdered in their home at 8 o'clock in the morning as the healthcare staff is accusing them of either suicide or doing it to themselves, because the kickbacks around those organs coming in through the back door of the Surrey Memorial Hospital through the emergency ward are just too large when you take it on to a provincial level and you just multiply the numbers. Seriously.